Hello and welcome to our ICC boot camp for January 8th, 2015. Happy New Year. Wow, what a great day. Life is good. Well, we're 1 minute away from our official start, but in the meantime, I'd like to share my new Skype picture with you. I guess I have to share screens first, don't I? Okay, screen share. What I'd like to point out is that we've beaten the maze, so you don't have to. And it's amazing. And today we're going to show you how to get your cheese. So it's a very, very exciting day today. Thank you for joining me. We're recording this, of course. And as you see me there bespectacled and hair and mustache, that's not really me, of course, but you know, that maze is a challenge. We've been down many roads and had to turn back many times, but we never ever ceased to continue our quest for the victory. And so personally, this is my year of Jubilee. I've got gazillions in BVK and in Zcash and chips, and I'll be turning them all into the funds that I need to use to do all the projects that I wish to do. And so if you wish to do that with us, we would more than welcome you to come and work with us. And if you think it's too hard or too convoluted or whatever, that's your choice. But the cheese is available and it's yours for the taking. But you have to work through the maze, just as we did. You just don't have to do it as many times as we have. And if you have gone along on several excursions with us and not had the success, well, that was not the time to stop, that's for sure. We're at the finish line, and you're saying, gee, you know, I've got this gold mine here, but do you know the price of a shovel? It's just too much money. I can't afford it. No, I can't afford to dig for my gold. Well, wow, sad choice. Anyway, let's get started. Thanks for joining me. Let's go back to stopping of the screen share for a second. There we go. All right, so we're back. Anyway, today we've got several topics we're going to cover, so let me check my book here because I've got so many things I want to cover with you. We're going to start today with the changes on the Financial Hope website. So if you want to go to the FH website, which is www.legacyassurance.net, I'll see you there. Let's go there. All right, where is it? Here we go. Okay. All right. So here we are. Let's go back to the home page, and we'll take a look at the home page as soon as it shows up. When I have all these windows open, it's running a little slower, but okay, just as I thought. There we go. All right, so on the left-hand toolbar, you're going to see the new 2015 news versus the old 2014 news. You're going to see taking care of mortgages. This is a usable document from chips-corner.com that you now have the option of sending people to this link, which outlines and informs people to deal with Brightstar Work Center. We have attorney and other scripts, which we'll be going through in a few minutes, and are you selling? And there'll be some of the other documents up here as well. We've also got it set up now for the webinars. So we have 2015 webinar invites, which you've obviously gone to. There's a new one now, the recorded ICC webinars. So that's where this one will be a little later this evening. So those are the updates as to what's out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 2015 news and see what's happened so far since we've started this new year. Just want to highlight some of the things that are there. All right, let's scroll down. Well, every year I have a new motto. So this year's motto for 2015 is life will be pristine for those who work with Bright Star Work Center in 2015. And let's take a look at the word pristine. In perfect condition, fresh and clean, or as if new. Well, gee, I'm ready for a good shower and shave and get back to perfect condition health-wise and financial-wise and business-wise. Now, this could be your year of Jubilee. I know it's going to be for Eddie and Gary. 2015 can be your year of emancipation and restoration. All you have to do is come to work with us, and it will be earned by you for not only 2015, but for years to come. We have everything in place right now to make it happen. And you can go and see the Rahino promissory note outline, which we'll be discovering today. And certainly contact me immediately to set up an appointment to work with me to formulate your plans for Jubilee 2015. And I wish you all great success in all that we do to make this world a better and pristine place. If it is to be, it is up to me. That's what I take to heart. And I never ask anybody to do anything I'm personally not doing. And so come and learn with Gary and Eddie, and we'll teach you what we know, and you can have the same kind of success that we're having. Just as we get everything ready to start, I get hacked, and pretty interesting situation. You've probably received an email and notice. Some of you were contacted by the hacker to the tune of 157 people got messages. So I spent time and went through and Skyped everybody and let them know that I've got my Skype back, and I've got my new picture, and I've got Gary Holmes up there, so everything is back to normal. And so I urge you to be careful. I got an email, and so it wasn't even from Skype. So the person who hacked my contact hacked their Skype and hacked their email and sent me an email stating that I should join their Skype blog. And so when I clicked on it, figuring it was safe, it said, put in your username and password, which I did, and the account was gone. That's how fast it happened. And then the email disappeared. It was amazing. It changed. So amazing things are happening out there with these hackers. So we all have to be a little more cautious, unfortunately, if they'd only spend their time doing good things instead of bad things. So anyway, that's all over with. And the good news is when you're given lemons, make lemonade. And so out of those 157 contacts that I made, I had several people very interested in what we're doing, because I hadn't talked to these people in a year and a half, 2 years in some cases. And so the hacker did a good job in waking them up, and they asked what I was doing, and I told them, and they said, well, great, we're very interested in learning more. So that's all we want, is people to get on the educational journey and choose for themselves, because if they continue to do what they're doing, they're going to continue to get what they're getting, which is probably not what they're wanting, and that is the definition of insanity. So just be careful. It's all there. Anyway, as we go along, this is really interesting. I said stop the insanity. Just the highlight of the news article. Outraged Swiss village, 1,000 residents forced to raise taxes because an African refugee mother of 7 children moves and costs £40,000 a month in benefits. Folks, you got to read this article and weep. I'm not going to spend the time reading it now. I do have it up here. You can see it's, you can Google it. It's on 5 or 6 different newspapers. But the amazing thing is, just this quick little box down here, they're paying £24,000 a month. Now, that's about $33,000 US a month for housing 4 kids in an orphanage. Another £13,000 for social worker expenses at £90 an hour. That's like $125, $135 an hour. General living expense allowance, £1,700, and housing, £1,300. I have a 3-bedroom apartment and a maid's quarters for $500 a month. This is insane. How could anybody ever do this to themselves. Well, that's what socialism is all about, folks. And that's where every major G20 nation is headed. They invite these people. They got a 5-year visa for 5 years, an option to stay beyond that. I'd be shipping that person out and their kids out as quickly as possible. And folks, you've got to understand that this is why we've created the Walking Billboard Advertising Privileges Program. And so it's so very important that you understand that we can keep people where they are. There's no reason for that woman to have ever gone to abuse the system, to be politically correct. These wonderful Swiss people bend over backwards to help this woman who knows how to milk the system. I have a friend and business partner, Tom, in Canada, and he has a large number of Somalian refugees living across the road in this huge high-rise apartment, multiple families in one apartment, and they're collecting anywhere from $1,400 to $2,400 a month. And he is a senior citizen, and his pension after working 25, 30 years in the country is like $700 a month. Now, how can this be? I mean, this is insane. So let's keep the people where they need to be, show them how to wear a t-shirt, and show them how they can develop their own nation and stay where their families are and their lifestyle. And I mean, let's face it, you can live really comfortably in San Miguel, El Salvador for 40,000 pesos, let alone 40,000 pounds. Like, I mean, 60, I don't even live on that much money, and I live comfortably here. So I guess what the socialist governments of the world say, if you build it, they will come. Well, yeah, they built a socialist nation, and they sure are coming. Look at what's happening in the United States. It's just unbelievable, the number of illegal aliens that are in that country now getting amnesty and getting to become citizens, where all the people that worked hard and paid their way to get there, what happened to them? I'm telling you, political correctness needs to be put on the back burner and burnt, and we need to get back to letting the churches and the synagogues and whatever other religious organizations, as the scriptures say, take care of the widows and the children. So I have a big heart. I'd be happy to help take care of these people, but let's do it in their own countries. Keep them where they are, comfortable in their own environment with their own people. That's what the San Miguel El Salvador program is all about, to stop these gangs from proliferating into the United States and North America and all through Central and South America. So it's all there for us, folks. We can be the lead, and we can make it happen. Okay, so read the article. Really interesting, and certainly I'm outraged too. It's just absolutely unbelievable. All right, so the next thing on the little list here is 2015 boot camp. We got that. Taking care of the mortgages. Are you selling? There's things to come. Okay, so let's go back over here. Can't remember what status is. Oh yeah, okay. Now I remember. All right, back over to Financial Hope. So we're going to review this document a little later on, taking care of mortgages in detail, but I want to go here very quickly to show you that you can copy and paste the link into an email and send it out, and I'll show you how that's done. And so it's basically a copy and paste of the Take Care of Mortgage with Regino. And so you go through that whole thing, and down here it says, for more information to start the process of taking care of your mortgage, contact the person who sent you this document link, or Gary Holmes at GDH at Financial Hope. So if you want to email this, now you can copy and paste it from here, put your information in there, and away you go. Now, it mentions in here, maybe it doesn't mention it in this one, but they'll get to it eventually, about UnCentral. And so there's the link now for the member countries, because I've had people from all over the place. Tracy asked me today, what about Greece? And I said, well, if it's on the list, they're under the if the membership, and so therefore they're to follow promissory notes and international bills of exchange. And so you can go and click on that link, and up comes this list of 88 countries. All right. UNCITRAL model law on international commerce arbitration. So this is all about promissory notes, and you can see it even goes into Canada. It lists off the individual provinces that have signed on to follow the law dealing with promissory notes and international bills of exchange. Okay, Iraq's not in there. Have you noticed that? Iran is, but Greece is in there, and United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, Scotland, the United States of America, and then they've got specific states that have gone on and signed on as well. Venezuela, Zambia, Zimbabwe. So it's all there. So 88 countries, we can use this and have the attorneys point to these laws and say, hey, you're supposed to be following these laws. Now, that's not to say that they're forced to do it in those countries, but in the United States, guess what? They are. And that's where we win big time, folks. We are there. We are in a wonderful position to be able to force the promissory note into payment protocols, and if they won't take it, guess what? Your debt is released. That is the law. It's already been proven. It's already gone to court. It's already done. So don't ever tell me you can't use these promissory notes. They're not real. They're as real as a heart attack. So really exciting year coming up. All right, so that's all we need to do there for UNCITRAL. Hard thing to say. Anyway. Right. Attorney script. Will I do this now? Yeah, I'm going to do this now because it's easier to do it here. And I've got another little script as well in there. That's why I got other scripts, because as I make these up, again, these are for me. You're going to have to make your own. You might want to send it to me to proofread it. But I'm going to be talking to attorneys starting tomorrow. And I'm going to contact all the English-speaking attorneys in the Dominican Republic. And so I've got a list. Well, where'd you get the list, Gary? You know, it's so simple to go and do a search. Just, I wrote it out. English-speaking abogados in Dominican Republic. Clink, up comes this list, and then there's even a list of lists of attorneys that speak English. And then there's individual offices that speak English. And so I got probably 35 or 40 facilities to contact. So here's my script. Hello. And obviously you're going to be speaking to a receptionist. My name's Gary Douglas, and I would like to speak with an English-speaking senior partner about prepaying for substantial legal services. Can you please connect me? Who might that be? Thank you. Obviously, there's going to be a little dialogue, and so it's got to be loosey-goosey, and you got to think, but at least you got something to follow. So you can pick up the phone, and you can call your local attorney and say, I'd like to speak with a senior partner. You don't have to put English-speaking in there, but it might be something else that you have to put in there. Then write the name down immediately so that you can address them and not forget them. Okay, so hello, Mr. Suez. My name is Gary Douglas. My partner and I are establishing a digital currency exchange company here in the Dominican Republic. Now, you may not be doing that where you are, so you're going to describe what you're going to be doing, because there's only a limited number of people that are going to be allowed to have that partnership with House Services, and I'm one of them. I'm blessed. So we're going to establish a digital currency exchange company here in the Dominican Republic, and we're looking for legal counsel that would be willing to work with us to achieve our goals. We are prepared to prepay for our legal services, providing you will take our direction, follow our business model, and work with us and our senior advisors to create this company. Would you be interested in exploring a working relationship with us? Yes or no? Yes, wonderful. No, not a problem. Could you recommend an English-speaking attorney who might be interested? No? No problem. Thanks for your time. Yes, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so before we meet, I'd like to have your permission to send you some information on how we would prepay for your services and some information on our business model. Would that be okay? Sure. Fine. Your email is, write it down. Thank you. A quick question, if I may. In prepayment of your legal services, will it be done on your standard fee schedule, or will there be a discount for prepayment? I need to let my partner know. Thank you. Well, I don't have a partner. What am I going to say, Gary? Well, I just need to know. All right. Once you've reviewed this information, please contact me via email, and we can set up a time to answer your questions. And if you're very interested, we can meet. Will that work for you? Sure will. Great. Great to hear. Thanks very much for your time. Watch for my email. It will say important prepayment information from Gary Douglas in the subject line so you won't miss it. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to our next contact. Now, you take this script and you make it yours. I've given you the basic draft, and you got to think about what you need for your situation. All right, so there it is. Now, yesterday, in contacting 157 people via Skype, I decided to tag at the end after explaining everything, and we had a little chat. I did an, oh, by the way, Bill, Sam, Sally, do you know anyone who is in foreclosure, has lost their home, or still has an outstanding mortgage? If you do, please send them this link, as it has a complete solution to solve their problem quickly. We've beaten the maze so they don't have to. We can show them how to get their cheese. See this link, and that's the link that takes you over here to taking care of mortgages, and pass it on. Okay, so you can take that and send it out in an email, send it out when you're talking to people on Skype. I think there's a huge market of people that have mortgages outstanding, have lost their home, and are in foreclosure. And amazingly enough, out of the 157 people, I think I got to about 65 or 70 of them. And I was amazed at how many people said they don't know anybody. And I said, well, that's fine, not a problem, but just keep the link handy in case you do. And when you're out shopping and when you're out running around, you'll see bank foreclosure sale signs, and just make a note and help those people. You've got the skill sets now to do it. What's the skill set, Scare? Pass them the link. Drop a card off, a note saying, gee, I'm sorry to see you're in such a mess, but take a look at this. It might be of interest, and then contact the guy that's listed there, or contact me if you want to do the work. Okay? Let's get out there and make a difference this year. Let's make this world a better place. So, taking care of mortgages, there's the script for getting an attorney to work with you, and a little overview. And there'll be some more that I'll be working on as we work with some of these others. And you know, the other amazing thing is that I have made contacts with a person who's very interested in working with us to sell us emeralds, to sell us steel, sugar, gold, calcium, all kinds of things. People I hadn't talked to in a year to 2 years. So even though I was very upset and angry that I was hacked, the hacker did a good job. Put me back in contact with people that I hadn't Skyped in years. So there's my lemonade. So it just goes to show that if you haven't talked to these people in your list for years, pick up the phone and call them, Skype them, get to them. They may be interested. You know, you never know until you ask. All right, so that's that. Taking care of business, reselling, other good. Okay, yeah. So there'll be other documents put together and stuck up there on the left-hand side. So watch for them. All right. Covered that. All right, so next thing we're going to do is go to chips-corner.com. I don't see it up here. I guess I lost it. Okay. Well, let's open up a new window and we'll go there. All right. There's lots of new things added. So people say, well, where is it, Gare? Well, you know, it would help if you look like I have to look, but I'm just going to tell you real quickly. There's lots of new things here. And click here for important news reports. That would be a good place to click. And you say, well, there's nothing new there. Well, sure there is. Click on digital currency. and you'll see a whole pile of neat stuff. And down here, you'll see the Black's Law Dictionary definition of the word fund. You'll see the legal payment refused debt discharge document, and you'll see some information on Bitcoin and digital currencies. So very good section here on the website, chips-corner.com. All right. So then we go back here, and then you can go to click here for recent updates and revisions. And so you'll see a whole pile of neat stuff, how to exchange a Rahino promissory note for other currency. That'll be the next thing that we do. The Rahino white paper, the draft. The repository hasn't got anything in there yet, but it will have. And then all of these things we're going to go over quickly. You're going to see Open Letter Zcash events, become a partner with House Services. If you haven't already asked for and applied, then you're going to have to do some major work to be able to participate in that one. Open letters to centers, point to ponder, and the 1222. So I want to start here. We're going to open this one up. And nothing has ever worked. I'm absolutely amazed at how many people have told me that nothing has ever worked. In fact, I just had that conversation this morning that nothing has ever worked. And I said, then I'll take back all of your BVK and all of your Zcash. Oh, no. Well, then put some value to it. Well, it's not worth anything. Well, then give it to me. If you don't want your Zcash and you don't want your BVK and you don't want your chips, then please assign them to me, because I have all kinds of things that I want to do, and I can never, ever run out of money, okay, personally, but I can always use more. So in response to points to ponder, one member has vented frustrations and stated that nothing has ever worked. You know, many members of the Internet Catalog Club may feel the same way. So let's take a little historical ride. But before we do that, I'd like to point out that, you know, if I didn't have the belief that I have, which is I will get the job done or die trying, and if it is to be, it is up to me, you wouldn't be listening today about all these solutions, would you? And if Eddie hadn't worked so diligently because of his legal background, and not that he's a lawyer, but he certainly knows law, if he hadn't worked so diligently with the leaders and provided them the grunt work, we wouldn't be here today. And if we didn't have Ben and Richie as founding members, we wouldn't be here today. And if we didn't have Javier Reina buying the bank with BVK, we wouldn't be here today. So I get a little frustrated when people say nothing has ever worked, because we're still working and we're still here. So my plea to you is to do something again. Oh, I already did laws and nothing ever worked. Well, that was then. This is now. I mean, if you have your own business in any other field, if you stop working, it stops paying. So don't be pointing your finger at me and saying, you failed me, Gary. I've never failed anybody. I never gave up. I'm still here. I'm still doing 5-6 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. And I will. Because guess what? It's my business. And I'm taking care of my business. And I am wealthy with my business. So, Club was founded in 1996 and Zcash electronic tokens were introduced. Well, 1996, you think you'd have it done by now. Do you realize that we have created an entirely separate, independent economic system for the entire world, not just one tiny little nation like the Dominican Republic? We have a system in place right now that we don't need any leadership of any government or any bank. Now, we'd like to work with them, of course, because they're always adversarial to us. And of course, we have the cabal, the power elitists that try to kill us and run us down the road and ran us through the maze. But again, we were relentless. We have everything in place to do what we need to do. So in 1999, we created CHIPS. I didn't, they did. Now, since that time, much has taken place. Because of the club's related business, new homes have been provided to people in need, jobs have been provided, businesses have been started, and funds totaling billions have been provided in DF1 documentary funds as a no-cost added value bonus to members of the Internet Catalog Club. So any of you holding BVK have been blessed beyond your wildest dreams. You're multi-millionaires, in some cases billionaires, and I'll bet you in some cases trillionaires. but nothing ever works. The DF1 documentary funds are collectible in USD bank deposit funds as per the payment protocol specified in the DF1 documentary funds. Did anybody ever apply for that? Did you ever read the IBO? Did you do it? No, I didn't. You did. So who's at fault? The payment protocol has always been available for any holder to execute. We just didn't do it. One member that we know of did do it, though. Guess what? And he eliminated the mortgage on his bank account, and that's done. The bank refused to take the payment, and the member sued the bank, and following an agreement ordered by the court, the bank accepted the DF1 documentary funds as payment. All right? So that works. But we don't have to use DF1 documentary funds. We have new promissory notes that are much easier for the banks to understand. Another member that we know of used DF1 documentary funds to stall foreclosure proceedings until the buyer for the property was found, and then retained the DF1 for other uses. Another member sold DF1 funds they received in the International Bank of Miyakui in exchange for BVK deposits into a high yield account. Those deposits have grown into the value where members have accounts that now have extraordinary value. I have, you have, if you've all been down that route. And at least one member that we know of has negotiated with BVK and earned billions in USD on deposit with a major world private banking system. Javier Reina bought a bank with BVK. He bought a gas field with BVK. He's bought homes with BVK. He's got cars with BVK. At least one member that we know has BVK deposits to acquire real estate property. In fact, Andre in South Africa bought his house, and the BVK that was used to buy the house was then used to buy a farm by the other member. All members that have BVK may use it within chips-corner.com to obtain Zcash. So this is the real turnover point. So you have the availability to get Zcash with your BVK. Now think about this, folks. Where could you go on planet Earth, have millions, billions, trillions on deposit, gold-backed currency, not associated with the cabal, so therefore completely separate, not unlike the Chinese yuan or the renminbi, and go read the stories on that stuff. It's no different. You can't see renminbi as part of the cabal system. It's not able to be transferred via SWIFT. Yet, I'll bet you in your house you've got all kinds of products from Japan, from China, haven't you? Okay? So don't say it can't be used. BVK can be used. We just didn't bother to work to figure it out. Some people did. Now, the beautiful part is that they're saying, okay, you can keep your BVK on deposit. You can come to work with Bright Star Work Center. You can commit to Gary and say, Gary, I will work with you, and I will work to promote the protocols and bring on new members, and I will do all that. In return, I would like to get some Zcash on credit. And you never had to touch your BVK. It stays there, earning you 5% interest compounding every month. Forever. And you get as much Zcash as you want. Next year you come back, I need another 25 million, Gary. All right, just show me you got the BVK still. Yep, still there. Look, a screenshot, no problem. Okay, here's your Zcash credit. Because you faithfully worked this past year, 2015, you've got your Jubilee. Now you're going to take on the world. Zcash and chips are digital currency, and as such are now considered by USA court rulings, USA state legislation changes, and USA state governors' executive acceptance as USD lawful USA currency. However, Zcash and chips are only usable within the confines of the Internet Catalog Club business social network. That is no different than China. That is no different than Russia with the ruble. They're not a part of the SWIFT system. But I'll tell you, very soon, those two countries, and along with all the other BRIC nations, will have their own system. Well, guess what? We've got our own system. We have a system that can unite the entire world. Now, a new Texas USA company called Rahino LLC has taken advantage of number 98 in business opportunities. Guess what? They're really fast at this. Whoa, I'm going to do that. I'm going to become a facilitator so that any member may now exchange Zcash and chips for promissory notes issued as per USA States Uniform Commercial Code and the United Nations UNCITRAL Convention. Well, I already showed you the documentation on 88 countries. As per the USA States Uniform Commercial Code, these promissory notes are legal tender in 49 out of 50 states in the USA. Well, Gare, which state isn't? Louisiana. Why not? Because it's under French law, not English common law, which had been converted into statutory admiralty law. Okay? But it's still a part of UNCITRAL. Okay? As per the UNCITRAL Convention, these promissory notes are legal tender in all the nations that are signatories to that convention. Laws in each jurisdiction will be different, but as per the Uniform Commercial Code, if payment for a debt submitted via one of these promissory notes is refused, the debt's discharged. Done deal. A theoretical example may indicate the power of the above reference. According to the news report, the debt of the USA government is about 19 trillion USD. It's actually a lot more than that. Apparently about 65% of that debt is to USA entities that hold US treasuries. The portion of that debt that is owed to the entities that live in the 49 states that have embodied the Uniform Commercial Code in their laws may legally be paid by the US government using promissory notes issued by Regino. Will they do it? Of course not. But can they? Sure they should, and sure they could. The portion of that debt that is owed to entities is the rest of the world, as per the UNCITRAL Convention, may legally be paid by the U.S. government using promissory notes issued by Regino. But the U.S. government would have to first obtain the promissory notes. Perhaps if all the USA members that have large BVK deposits were to use BVK to obtain Zcash, then use Zcash to obtain LHP, and that gives you 6 times value, and automatically use the LHP to obtain promissory notes, and use the promissory notes to pay USA taxes on their BVK accounts, USA government would have enough promissory notes to pay off its debt. Isn't that interesting? You see, as a US citizen, you are to claim interest earnings on your accounts on all funds anywhere on the planet. It's the only country in the world that demands, even if you don't live in that country, you pay taxes to them. So the land of the free? No, the land of the enslaved. In fact, the USA government could collect on the promissory notes in the USD bank deposit funds as stipulated in the notes and could pay its debt with USD bank deposit funds instead of with promissory notes. Now, let's look into this a bit more. Members can use BVK as collateral to obtain Zcash through Zcash credit. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. I'm telling you what we're doing, then I'm going to tell you what we did. When doing so, they would automatically accrue equal value in chips, and these would automatically be used to cancel the debt. So you see, when you get your Zcash credit means you got to pay it back, right? Well, guess what? We're going to take the chips and pay back that debt, which means they would not spend their BVK, and they would receive the Zcash with net zero cost. But nothing ever works, Gare. When the members thereafter use the Zcash to acquire LHP and automatically exchange the LHP for promissory notes, they would also automatically accrue chips of equal value. Now, they may use the promissory notes obtained using Zcash to pay their taxes. They may use the equal value chips to acquire more LHP and automatically receive equal value promissory notes. They could use or collect these promissory notes, and thus by paying taxes, they could have an equal value income of USD bank deposit funds. The US government could choose to collect the promissory notes by accepting ownership of the associated Internet Catalog Club accounts holding Zcash. The US government could use the Zcash to acquire LHP and automatically exchange it for promissory notes of equal value, thus accruing chips of equal value. The US government could use the promissory notes to pay off the USA debt. The US government could use the chips to acquire additional LHP and automatically exchange it for promissory notes of equal value, which could be used to rebuild the deteriorating USA infrastructure. So please understand that we take serious issue with the statement that nothing has ever worked. We don't say this to be contentious, but it seems to us that everything has always worked for those who follow the paths proven to be successful, and does not work for those that insist on trying to follow other paths or wait on others to make things work for them. Hopefully this discussion might help those that hold lots of BVK or Zcash or chips to understand that they can use these to accomplish their objectives. Experience has shown that the key is to learn how to negotiate with what you have. Now, what one man can do, another man can. What one woman can do, another woman can. So this is our year of Jubilee, folks. Come and learn with me, and we'll put all this to. Will the government do it? Probably not. Why? They're run by the cabal. They want you in debt. They want you enslaved. They want you confused. They want you impoverished. They want you depressed. Are you going to let them win? Are you going to let them get away with it? I'm sure not going to. So, this is very personal to me. And I'm going to get the job done or die trying. And I hope you'll come and join me. You don't have to die. Just try. Get it done. All right. So that is a fabulous document. Open Letters to Senators 1222. I think we can go back. Now, what are we doing for time? We're way out of time here. All right. So the next one I want to work on here is list says, okay, next one we're going to do is take a look down here. As we go down to the bottom of the website, we've got easier links to get to what is LHP, LHP examples, Rahino. And so we're going to click on the Rahino link because everything that's got anything to do with Rahino is now at this link. And so again, if you wanted to send this link to somebody with all of the stuff in it for their review, like an attorney, great link. Just copy and paste this link and boop, up comes all these neat things. So how to exchange a Rahino promissory note for other currency. So that's the one we're going to go to next, which is right here. And so here's what you need to learn to do. How to exchange a Rahino promissory note for other currency. A Rahino LLC promissory note is issued as per USA State's Uniform Commercial Code and as per the United Nations Uncitral Convention, making it legal tender in reportedly 88 nations. And I showed you the list. But how do you exchange a Rahino LLC promissory note to a currency of more common use in a particular nation? The answer is collect in USD bank deposit funds and then exchange those funds for the currency you want to have. So if you're in South Africa, England, or Australia, or Greece, or wherever you're at, Bali, we've got members all over the place. Just follow the plan. But how do you collect in USD bank deposit funds? Well, since you're looking to obtain bank deposit funds, you have to involve a bank and use the bank's rules for obtaining USD bank deposit funds. Well, Gary, I tried that with DF1s. It didn't work. I tried it with DF2s. It didn't work. Well, you're not going to use DF1s or DF2s. So stop thinking in the past and start thinking that I have a document that they'll accept. What, a promissory note? Yeah, a promissory note. They accept them every day. They do business with them every day. Major corporations use them every day. Governments use them every day. In fact, you've probably, if you're a U.S. citizen, you got them in your pocket. They're called Federal Reserve notes. They take promissory notes every day. So you have to make it easier for the banker to cooperate with you, irrespective of your credit. Most bankers will be happy to loan you the full amount of a Rahino LLC promissory note if you lodge the note with the bank and also arrange for an amount of USD bank deposit funds with value greater than the value of the note to be placed on deposit with them, collateralizing your loan. So you go in and say, look, I want to pop in this $3 million promissory note, and I want to put it on deposit. But by the way, my senior advisors, they want to put in $250 million. Are you interested? Get out of here. You can't do that. Talk to my attorney. You see why you need the attorney? Sit down, shut up, and listen. My attorney will clear your mind as to the law. Now, the deposit should be sufficient to cover the full amount of the loan as well as interest to be paid over the period of the loan. So therefore, the loan would be self-liquidating. That is, the loan would not have to be repaid because the banker could collect from the deposit. But how can you obtain the USD bank deposit funds to place on the deposit with the bank? Well, there are at least two ways to accomplish this. One way is to have the bank accept to become the beneficiary of the note and have the bank negotiate with Rahino to obtain a set of documentary funds of much greater value than the note, exchange these with Rahino for certificate of deposit, CD, or a safekeeping receipt, SKR, registered so to be usable within a brokerage account designated by Rahino. That would allow for professional traders to execute non-depletion, non-risk transactions involving U.S. Treasuries to provide profits to be placed on deposit with the bank. Once sufficient profits have been placed on deposit through this process by Rahino, the bank would most likely be happy to loan you the full value of the note. By the way, if you're dealing with a non-USA bank, they may not wish to do business with a USA entity, which in case Rahino could agree to use a surrogate with their jurisdiction. I'll give you an example. We have an attorney I'll be talking with next week. He has a Citibank account. Well, Citibank may or may not be interested to do business with us. That's fine. But Citibank has Citigold Bank in El Salvador, and they would be happy to allow us to use Citigold there. So you see, there's lots of connections that have been made over this last 5 years that allow us to do these things. Similarly, if a USA bank does not wish to open accounts for a Texas corporation, Rahino could agree to use a surrogate within their jurisdiction. And so that's what's going to happen. We're going to open up a corporation here in the Dominican Republic, and we'll use the Citigold in El Salvador. Okay, but what if the bank you want to do business with does not want to work with documentary funds that Rahino can present? Well, then there's a second way. And a second way is for you, as the beneficiary of the note, to request that Rahino provide the documentary funds to Texas Holdings, Inc., THI, for THI to engage in commerce. Based on the value of the documentary funds, THI could issue its own promissory note to initiate a business transaction that could bring to the table, that you could bring to the table. Using profits from that business transaction, THI could deposit the USD bank deposit funds in your bank so that your bank could provide the full amount of the note you have as a loan to you, with payback being through the THI deposit. Well, why not just have THI pay you and you transfer the note to THI? Well, that could be arranged, but it's to your advantage to involve a bank if you can. The reason is that once you've set up the transaction with THI and you have deposited your note with your bank, you would then be in a position to negotiate with others similar to the way THI will do so, and thus accelerate your benefiting from the note. But for the purpose of this document, it's not to educate you on how to function as THI, but to provide you with the information and how you might proceed with the Rahino and with THI. So what kind of business transactions would THI be interested in? Well, there are 4 generic types. Taking care of mortgages, which we will have enough time to read today. Don't let it happen again. The power of student loans, and are you selling we'll cover next week, but you can certainly read them in the meantime. But you may propose other types of businesses as well. Initially, the business transactions you bring to THI will require someone to buy wholesale LHP or to pay for LHP retail administrative fee. So either way, there is a fee to get started. So, gee, you mean I got to come up with some money? No, you got to come up with the work. You got to get out there and talk to businesses and talk to individuals, and let's get this thing going. I mean, if you're losing your house for $5,000, well, gee, let's take a look. Let's see how we can solve that problem. Taking care of mortgages with Rahino LLC promissory notes using RE Addendum 3. Now, to execute this protocol, you must be a member of the Internet Catalog Club, and you can get a membership on credit through Brightstar Work Center. You want to go work with another work center to get you a free membership, that's another story. Now, you can sell your property at a negotiated price plus any fees related to the sale to Texas Holdings, Inc. Well, why would I want to do a dumb thing like that? Well, I would hope that you would see the value if you would read the whole document. Regardless of where the property is in the world, THI will offer to buy it using a standard real estate contract with RE Addendum 3 inserted. So you go read Addendum 3. So it'll be for the value of what you stated needs to be there, minus $10, and then they'll give you a $10 check along with the Rahino promissory notes to pay off all your lien holders and to provide the remaining payment to you. Did you hear that? The remaining payment to you. Here's an example. I live in California, Gary. I had $1 million home. Well, property values dropped to $500,000. I couldn't make my payments anymore because they were like $7,000 a month. And so I stopped making my payments. The next thing you know, the sheriff's at my door doing a sheriff's sale, and they did a short sale and they sold my $1 million house for $300,000. You know, I'm really pissed off. What can I do about it? Well, go find $5,000 and we'll show you how to solve your problem. So what ends up happening is the banks are going to come after this guy once he's back on his feet for the $200,000 difference from the $500,000 that the property's actually worth to the $300,000 that the short sale got the bank. And they're going to say, well, it's worth $500,000. You still owe me $200,000. So he'll be able to get that looked after, and he'll get $500,000 for himself. Does that make up for that loss? Is that not worth finding $5,000 to do? So you may review a draft Rahino LLC promissory note. Go review it. We've done it in previous webinars. I would suggest we'll do it again and again. Now, once you've provided the Rahino promissory notes to your lien holders as beneficiaries, you are to send these to the lien holders along with a copy of the white paper. And the white paper tells them exactly how they can claim it. There's two ways. Now, remember, you don't have to do it. They got to do it. And that's the thing that I was stumbling on. But I got it pounded into my head between Christmas and New Year's that once you've given them the promissory note, they are paid in full. Nothing further has to be done. So when you give these promissory notes to the bank, you're done. You don't have to show them how to do it. Well, you're going to be kind enough to say, okay, here's the white paper. You may negotiate the promissory note with you as the beneficiary as you may wish. However, it's highly recommended that before undertaking to engage in this process, you engage in the services of an attorney that can represent you in dealing with your lien holders and can aid you in processing a promissory note with you as beneficiary to obtain USD or other currency bank deposit funds. Okay? So I can't afford the attorney. Well, find an attorney that you can put his fees for service in the promissory note. How do I do that? Well, amazingly enough, I already got the script there for you to start. You're going to prepay for services. I'm going to go to an attorney and I'm going to say, I'm going to prepay you $10 million USD for your services. And out of the $10 million, I want you to buy a hotel, 2 houses, 2 cars, and furniture. I'll get $5 million and you'll get $5 million. Plus, if you will accept the promissory note and then exchange it through LHP, then you'll get equivalent in chips. And so you'll end up getting not just $5 million, but another $10 million in chips, which will give you $15 million in prepaid legal fees, of which you gave me 5. Is that a fair deal? If not, next. Now, I'm not saying you have to say 10 million. It could be 1 million if your balance on your property is only 200,000. Well, you know, I think probably $1 million prepayment might work, but that's where you come to me and we negotiate it. We discuss what you're prepared to do in order to get what it is you need to get. Now, the reason it's recommended that you engage the services of an attorney is that although it's in their best interest to do so, lien holders may not understand and may not accept your payment, and your attorney may have to intervene to protect your rights. Remember, these guys have been used to just bamboozling everybody, and they'll bamboozle you. Might makes right, you know? They're just going to say, you don't have the right to give me a promissory note. What gives you the right? Well, here's the right. Speak to my attorney. Now, if your attorney knows how, and then if they're willing to learn how to process the note to be provided to you so as to collect the attorney's fee through that note, would just give you the example, and negotiate for positive outcome with your lien holders, the attorney most likely is qualified to represent you in these transactions. Otherwise, next, find another attorney. They're out there in droves. I mean, there's more attorneys in the United States than probably any other country on all the countries on the planet. Now, this ain't free. There's a quid pro quo required by THI for THI to provide the contract and payment in the form of Rahino promissory notes. That means there's something you must do. Work, W-O-R-K, a four-letter word that so many people are adverse to. For THI to obtain the Rahino LLC promissory notes, THI must present Zcash and or chips to acquire LHP, low-cost, high-value products, so as to resell these to Rahino LLC and collect payment in the form of promissory notes issued to the parties you designate as lien holders to you and to your attorney. THI will take care of obtaining and presenting as payment the Zcash and chips, but there is an administrative fee requiring the exchange of 500 tickets USD or more. I mean, if you want 10 million, you're going to pay more. So what I suggest you do is you start off with a couple of $100,000. All right? Then you've only got 5,000 to come up with. You get a couple of $100,000. Then how many more tickets can you buy then when you got a couple of $100,000 cash in your pocket? So build it up. All right, so 500 tickets or more as per negotiation with Rahino LLC for transactions to be processed. So what you do is you come to me and say, Gary, here's what I'd like to do. I review it with you. We get a plan. We give it to Rahino, and they say, this won't work, but this will. Well, here's what I suggest. And we negotiate. THI expects you to take care of that before any contracts and promissory notes are provided to you. You need to acquire the set of 500 tickets USD, which will require 5,000 USD bank deposit funds. However, you may use the membership that you have to sponsor others and help them take care of their mortgages. And then you'll be compensated. Out of that 5,000, you get $1,000. So find 5 people that want to get rid of their mortgage, get their home back, and you've got yours paid for. Now, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people out there that are losing their home. And they'll find the 5,000 or they won't. But the point is the ones that want to keep their home bad enough will do the work and find 5 people to get them their money. All right? It's called work. I mean, how hard have you worked so far to buy the house that you're losing? How much do you spend every month? And you're not going to come up with $5,000 to save it and have it completely paid off? Something wrong with that thinking. Also, again, you can look up the administrative retail administrative fee in Employee Gold, 20%. So again, 5,000, you get $1,000. You can earn those funds to offset the cost of the tickets USD you've already acquired if you've already paid the $5,000. You can pay for the tickets you need to acquire by finding 5 people, or you can use the money for other purposes. That means that everybody that's on this call and everybody that will listen to it, get out there and start making $1,000 a week by finding one family that needs to pay off their mortgage. Now, here's the beautiful part. You can include the price to be paid by THI, the $5,000, or the $10,000, or the $20,000, or the $50,000, or the $100,000, depending on how much you're wanting to get. All your attorney's fees, all the real estate fees, all the repair costs of renovating your house, cost of LHP retail administrative fees. Put it all in there in your promissory note. And use your attorney as the escrow and the surrogate. That's what I'm going to do. After THI has acquired the property, if you wish, the property can be resold to you. All right? So what better way to go to the judge and the judge says, you're in foreclosure? No, I'm not, Judge. I've got this promissory note. It's now paid in full. This company over here owns it. Oh. All right. Yeah, okay. Clink, bang. Case dismissed. Property's paid for in full. All right? So now you own the property? No, you don't. THI does. Hey, THI, remember how we pre-negotiated for all that BVK to be used to get Zcash to pay for my house? Yeah. Okay, I'd like to exercise that and transfer the BVK now. No, you don't even have to. You get the Zcash on credit and keep your BVK earning you 5% a month interest compounding. Wow, what a fabulous opportunity we have here, folks. Man, if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. Wow, I am so excited. I'm just doing backflips. So lots of great stuff here. Again, there's just not enough hours in the day for me to get to each and every one of you. So that's why I'm offering you the invitation to come to me and say, I'm ready to get to work. Let's formulate a plan. I want to pay off my house. I want to do this. I want to do that. Whatever you want to do, you've got the BVK, you got the Zcash. All you need to do is get to work, and we'll show you the scripts, show you what to do, modify them for you. You're ready to go. And so start studying all this neat stuff. Don't let it happen again. You know, I started looking for businesses for sale, and this is all about oil and gas industry, because what's happening with the lower price, all these U.S. companies that started to do shale production, which I don't agree with, of course, are now all going broke. Well, guess what? We can buy them all out and clean up their mess and do it. So I got hooked up with this company that sends out emails on businesses for sale. They're sending me between 5 and 6 oil companies, gas companies a day. I don't even have time to look after all the leads. I mean, there's so much out there. I mean, you don't have to go beat the bushes. You just have to hook up to something like that lead company, and they send you out the companies that are looking to sell. And then we go and offer them. Oh, you want to sell something? Because if you're selling, we're buying. THI will buy anything and everything. We want to stock up the shelves. All right, there's the document to do it. Got student loans? There's the document to do it. Folks, it's all here. Those are the focus areas. If you got something else you want to focus on, I was just talking with a gentleman before the webinar, and he's ready to get started mining his emerald mine in Colombia. Needs $1 million to do it. Well, guess what? He's got his attorneys coming back from vacation. We're going to get with them. They all have escrow accounts, and we're going to get him set up with his good buddies in Scandinavia, and we're going to get it all done. And so they've been blessed with the ability to set up an exchange facility. So can you imagine? And so I said, would you like to sell all your emeralds? He said, I sure would. Well, guess what? THI will buy his entire emerald production. Will that give him $1 million that he needs? You see, folks, we're here. You just got to decide to jump on board and be here with me. And if you do, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. I got plenty to do, but I will be here, ready, willing, and able, if you're ready and willing and able. You give me 10%, I'll give you 10. You give me 100, I'll give you 100. God bless you all. Thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, study the materials, get your list of questions, send them to me, and we'll get them answered, get you on board. Great success in 2015. This is our year of Jubilee.